Okay, so I was watching the movie Dude, Where's My Car? And it got funny movie if you haven't seen it. Kind of stupid, but very funny if you're into that kind of funny something movies. And it kind of got me thinking about early 2000s nostalgia. Now, I know I usually talk about the 90s, sometimes the 60s, but mostly the 90s. Because that's the decade I'm into the most. But to be fair, and I'm going to keep talking about the 90s because I love it. But to be fair, I was only born in the last year of it, sadly. So I don't really remember much. And the 90s became sort of like a mistake for me in many ways to get away from the current year sometimes. Well, I was thinking though, what about the decade I actually grown up in? What would be 2000? What would be the early 2000s? 2010s too, but mostly early 2000s. What was the culture like at the time, and what was it really like to live in that era? Well, to be fair, what I know about most 90s things, mostly the early 2000s were kind of like a surge pot of the 90s, but with its own flair. That's kind of what it seemed like to me anyway, looking back at it all. And it's weird because, okay, so I don't know. I like looking back at it. Okay, let's talk about the music first, since this is mainly a musical channel. The music. Now for the most part, I would say I look at the music of the early 2000s very poorly. And don't get me wrong, I mean, there are some nostalgia in it. For example, Blink 182. I'm not a fan of Blink 182. I'm not gonna lie. I had sort of a pop punk phase in my day. I really did. Um, I I don't know. It's just I had kind of that. I wear the sort of, what do you call those things from back in the day? I wear like the long shorts, what were long enough to be pants, I guess, but they were not really pants. They were shorts, but they were long jean shorts. Uh, I I wear those things. I never really. I tried to skateboard, couldn't really do it. I always liked skateboard culture and stuff though. But yeah, back to the music. Blink 182, good shower. I can't stand that. But I would say for the most part, those bands do have sort of a nostalgia vibe to it all. Um, what else? What else? What else? This also new metal, which is interesting because new metal sort of started in the '90s with Korn and stuff. But when I think of like early 2000s new metal, I think of like Linkin Park. Um, yeah, that's pretty much about it. To be honest, I don't know too many new metal bands. But yeah, Linkin Park, maybe like, crap. I don't know. I have to. I was never really a new metal fan. I guess if I had to say what I was into at the time, that it would probably be pop punk. Though I really did like System of a Down. I did like that band. Mostly because even though they were put in the new metal category, they were good and they were kind of their own thing. Not really new metal, but kind of their own thing. Um. Okay, now let's talk about the shows, the TV shows. I don't know if you guys know this show, but I used to watch it a lot on Nickelodeon. It was called As Told by Ginger. It was kind of like, it's hard to admit what it was like. I guess it was sort of like Pepper Ann, I guess, for the early 2000s. By the way, Pepper Ann's a good 90s show, but we're talking about the early 2000s today. Pepper Ann was pretty cool. It was about a girl with her friends going through life, I guess. Welcome in the Middle, it's pretty much that kind of a sample of what the early 2000s were like. I'm going off by memory, guys, so I don't know if this is going to turn out to be a good video or not, but I just kind of wanted to make it, this is mostly a nostalgia channel, but for the 90s mostly, but I don't know. I wish I had a picture of what I looked like back then, because man, did I look ridiculous. Tell me, guys, what did you guys think about that era? Were you in it? What do you guys think about it? And yeah, I don't know why I made this video, to be honest. It all started with that movie I watched, and it was just like, oh, I remember that. I don't know. So see ya.